Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be filming one of my most anticipated videos of the year, which is of course my 2024 favorites. So I'm going to go through and discuss all of my favorite makeup launches of the year. I can't believe I'm filming this video already. It feels like this year came and went so fast. Anyways, let's get into today's video. I really enjoyed using bronzing drops this year, and there's two that really stood out to me. The first one being the First Aid Beauty Bronzing Glow Drops. I really like these ones. These ones have niacinamide in them. This one's a bit on the sheer side in comparison to some other bronzing drops, so this one's really good for me in the wintertime when I feel as fair as the snow outside. This is good just to give me a little bit more life, especially if I am feeling really dry and dull. This just kind of gives me automatic life, and it's honestly pretty empty. I think I have like one use out of this one left. Here, I'll swatch this one so we can compare it to the next one I'll be talking about, but this one is very light, as you can see, and the shimmer is really gorgeous. It's not too glittery leaning, it's a very pearlescent glow, and once it's blended on your skin, it kind of just gives you kind of like a natural hydrated look. And I love the addition of niacinamide in there. Niacinamide and me, we're like this, we get along really well. And another thing that I love about this one is that when I apply it, it doesn't make my skin look dirty. It doesn't settle into my pores at all. The shimmer doesn't look patchy or separated. It's just very even, and I love it. And the second one was the Well People Bio Bronzing Priming Serum. I wore this all throughout the summer. It basically became the final step in my skincare routine. I just went in with it mindlessly. I quickly swatched it next to the First Aid Beauty ones. You can see a good difference here. I would say the Well People one has a bit more coverage than the First Aid Beauty, and First Aid Beauty looks maybe more dewy in comparison to this one. The pearl in both of them are pretty similar, so again, this one doesn't settle into my fine lines or my pores, so it doesn't make my skin look dirty whatsoever. I love this one for the summertime. I can't really get away with wearing it now. I feel like it looks unnatural and very makeup-y. It's just too deep for me at the moment, so I opt for this one. This one is amazing. It just gave that rich bronzy glow right away. It evened out my skin tone a little bit. You can see it's a little bit more opaque in its coverage. It just has a lot more oomph in comparison to the First Aid Beauty ones. So my favorite foundation of the year, I only have one in today's video. That's right, just one. And it is the Urban Decay Face Bond Foundation. This is such a unique and revolutionary product to my collection. It even made me a matte skin lover there for a bit, which is very unlike me. I'm usually like a soft satin, natural kind of glowy foundation type of girl. I just have so many good things to say about this foundation, I don't even know where to start. I filmed this clip already like 7 times, and it's just become a jumbled mess. So for kind of a medium to full coverage foundation, this feels so comfortable and seamless, and it just looks perfected, but it doesn't have the texture of a medium to full coverage foundation. It feels very serum-y and light because it is a 3-in-1. It's a niacinamide serum, a foundation, and a setting powder all in one little nifty little tube. And it's amazing on my oilier complexion. The effect lasts so well on me. This is also extremely transfer proof. I didn't really believe the claims because a lot of foundations claim that, and you know, for us oilier people, sometimes that doesn't really hold up, but this one truly does. I remember I worked on a campaign with them earlier this year for this foundation, and one of their requests were to press like a clean white cloth against my skin to show that it's very transfer resistant, and I was like, oh, I don't know how that's gonna go. Might have to cut that clip out, but it worked, and I was so shocked. You can see my genuine reaction in my reels I made. But anyways, yeah, like I can hug people and I don't have to worry that this is going to transfer on their shoulder. This just has all of the qualities I look for and love when it comes to a foundation. Very comfortable, I don't feel it on my skin. It pairs well with my oilier complexion. It pairs well with all of my other favorite products. It just has check marks all across the board and more because of its unique self-setting quality. It's so interesting. You can blend this out, feels very nice and thin, and then you can see the powder kick in and just blur your skin out like crazy. This plus a super blurring powder makes an unreal finish. I specifically like to use this with the Kosas Cloud Set. That just creates like a incredible skin finish if you want like a super flawless, poreless, blurred out base. Incredible duo. Anyways, can't say enough good things. Hopefully you get the gist. I just freaking love this stuff. I have 2 favorite concealers. This one is kind of a newer favorite, but I've been wearing it non-stop. It's the IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Dark Spots Corrector and Serum Concealer. So this one fits into my taste pretty well. It is definitely a sister to the NYX Cosmetics Serum Concealer, the Tower 28 one, and the LYS Triple Fix Serum Concealer. So definitely in that realm. This one I can just really adjust. I can make it look like just like an eye brightener, or I can build up to like a full coverage effect if I'd like, without it ever looking cakey and crepey under my eyes. This doesn't settle into my fine lines, and it always just looks super seamless and melted into my skin, which I love. And I can get away with wearing this just under my eyes without a foundation, and it still looks really nice and melted and seamless without looking too corrective under the eye. So like on quick days when I'm just running to the grocery store and I'm just doing a few errands and I don't feel like putting on a full face, this always just looks really, really natural and seamless. So this has become like my go-to for all concealer. This one came out pretty early in the year. This is the NYX Pro Fix Sticks. I really like these. I used to love like the NARS potted concealer as well as the Kaleidos stick concealer. This is a very, very similar product. It has that kind of drier, powdery feel that's amazing at color correcting as well as like spot correcting blemishes. That kind of airy matte finish works wonders for covering pimples and such because it's going to cut the shine and blur the area out. So this is my favorite for spot correcting, but it also wears wonderfully under the eye. I have one favorite powder, and that is the Makeup by Mario Surrealskin Soft Blur Setting Powder. Oh, this stuff is incredible. It's a little bit more natural looking in comparison to the Huda Beauty loose powder. Sometimes loose powders can be quite intense, but this one just always looks very seamless, softening, and just very corrective. And this is super long wearing on my complexion. Sometimes with loose powders, they can be eaten up very quickly by my natural oils, but this one lasts on me. I can often use a couple different setting powders, one for underneath of my eye and another for the rest of my face, but this one I love everywhere. It looks amazing for every use. If you're in the market for a new powder, definitely give that one a try. It's incredible. I have one setting spray here. This is the One Size Until Dawn Mattifying Waterproof Setting Spray, and oh boy, this is basically like a top coat for your face. I don't use this every single day. I only use it for special events or long days that I know I want my makeup to just stay put. And oh my gosh, does this ever make your stuff stay put. Even if you have like a sweaty dance night, it's locked in. Because this is kind of like a top coat, this doesn't do much for like melting everything together. If things are looking a little too powdery or like it's standing off your face too much, I would definitely use more of like a classic Urban Decay setting spray or Charlotte Tilbury setting spray first, then use this as my final coat before I go out the door. It took me a long time to try this product out, and I wasn't sold the first couple times using it because it is very intense, especially in the nostril area. But my goodness, if you get past it and you hold your breath a little bit, maybe run to the next room, oh my gosh, is it ever worth it? It is such a game changer. Getting into bronzers and contours and such, I don't know if I included this in last year's best of 2023, but this was definitely featured in more videos than not. This is my Kaleidos Symphony Contour Trio. I use the shade Light. I'm going to have to restock on this soon. I love this stuff. It has such a gorgeous, controllable feel. Like it's not overly pigmented like a lot of products have become over the last couple years. And I don't like that. I like to build up my products so I can just control it a lot better. This just seamlessly goes on. It has such a blurring, softening quality. I just use it every single day. I can't get enough. And I don't only use this on my face, I also use it for my eyes for a quick eye makeup. It's just the best cheek trio I've ever tried. This next product will kind of lead us into blushes, but I wanted to talk about them in the same breath because one's a bronzer color and the other's a blush. These are the RMS Redimension Hydra Powder Blush and Bronzer. So at first this didn't really look like anything too special. Like it kind of reminds me of the NABLA bronzers and highlights. I think they had blushes too, but these are far less shimmery looking on your skin. They look like they're complete metallic shimmery products, but on your skin they look exactly like creams. I kind of layered like most of the products here. I thought I lost the blush, but it survived a big tumble. I think I was saying I layered a lot of these products because they were all in front of me, and I like to like sometimes point, but I am wearing a layer of this on top of the Kaleidos trio. But you can see it just adds like a little nice skin-like sheen, and the colors are stunning. I use the shade Tan Lines in the bronzer, and I have the shade Maidens blush in the blush. They do have a ton of shades in the blushes and the bronzers. I haven't been tempted to like expand my collection in the blush. I think it's because I'm so happy with this specific color. I remember the first time I tried it, I think I was like, this is Julia's blush. If I could create a blush, it would probably be this, because it's like nice and bronzy, but also kind of mauvey. It just has a lot of tones within it that could pull differently depending on the season or whatever other product I'm pairing with it. They're just delightful. My number one favorite blush of the year were definitely the blush filters from Huda Beauty. I cannot get enough of these. The packaging looks delicious. I don't know why that was the first thing I wanted to mention, but these are incredibly gorgeous through the colors, the formula, the texture, the finish, everything about these is just perfection. These have become my number one favorite liquid blushes, and definitely my top favorite blushes I've ever tried. My top three shades are Coco Loco, which at first I was like, oh, that's not for me. But if you really sheer it out and use a little, it turns into that bronzy mauvey color that I just adore. This one here, I wore all fall long. It's the shade Black Cherry, the one in the middle there. It's a little bit more of like a brighter mauvey berry color, stunning. And the one I wore most in the summer was Strawberry Cream. I don't even know where to start. Basically, these are so user-friendly. They're not overly pigmented for liquid blushes. They're very easy to blend out. I always have like a very seamless worked in edge. It always looks very fresh and cloudy. The texture is so nice. There's a very slight silky moussey texture. You can feel it when you're blending it out, but it just blends so effortlessly. And I love the finish on your skin. It dries down completely, but the pearl is so microscopic. It looks exactly like a serum-y, creamy blush, but it lasts all day. Your hair doesn't get stuck in it. It has great longevity for a liquid blush. Oh, I just can't say enough good things. I just hope that with every new Huda collection, there is a new shade in this blush. I have some pretty incredible powder blushes to speak on now. I think this was my most used product in general throughout the year. This blush here, the Makeup Forever Artist Blush in Wherever Rose. The color and texture is just absolutely stunning. I feel like I've been shoving this product in your face for so long now. In the pan, you can feel that it's a really nice kind of hydrated powder, and that creaminess just really helps to get it to adhere and sink into your other products. You may not be a fan of this specific shade, but my goodness, the texture of the powder is incredible. I did also pull my two other shades I have in my collection here, just in case they're more up your alley. This is Limitless Berry. I would say that this is kind of the more punchy, amped up version of Wherever Rose. Right there. And I also have this peachy one, which was cute in the summertime. This is Anywhere Peach. It has kind of like a soft clementine tone to it. It's not like a pinky peach. It's more of like a yellowy, true orange peach. A common combo I would do. I don't know if I discovered this product this year, but I used it so much, I just had to quickly mention it. This is the Essence Pure Nude Baked Blush in Rosy Rosewood, but I love this baked blush. It's more refined than a lot of others. This one has such a fine pearl. I feel like some baked blushes have a little bit more of a chunky pearl or even a glitter, I would say. This one has kind of like a super seamless creamy look. Describe it as almost the powder version of the blush filters from Huda Beauty. But I would apply the Makeup Forever one first and this on top if I was missing a little bit of a natural glow. It would just amp it up perfectly. I would also wear this all the time on its own. I'm wearing it over the liquid filter in the shades Coco Loco and Strawberry Cream. I mixed those two shades and I put this on top. I just really experimented with my makeup. Did a little potion time before filming. To help me pick out products, I always look at my description boxes for my past like roundup videos, and I'm always taken aback by how some of them went from like my liked section to my favorite section. And this is one of those instances. This blush from NABLA, the close-up blurring powder blushes, I don't know how they weren't an immediate favorite. If you like the Dior Rosy Glow blushes, these are very similar in the texture and the feel. The pigment is a little bit more apparent, but not overly pigmented that it's hard to use. And every single shade in this whole line is absolute perfection. I do have a cheek swatch video up on my channel. You can go find that on my shorts page if you'd like. But this over the combination of the Urban Decay Face Bond and the Kosas Cloud Set Powder, this blurring blush over that creates something completely magical. Even more magical than that base already was. My favorites are all of them, but if I'm being completely honest, the red and the shade Enigma over here, these two were my top faves. This is the Dior Forever Glow Star Filter. This is their version of like the Hollywood Flawless filter from Charlotte Tilbury. I love this one. It kind of feels like an in-between of the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter and the Orc Glow Lust, which two of my favorite products in general, but this one just kind of is the perfect baby in between them. It has more of that satiny kind of balmier texture when you're blending it out, but it does set down kind of like the Charlotte Tilbury one, and it looks so sunken in and gorgeous. The perfect amount of glow to go all over your face or to use just as a pinpointed highlight underneath your foundation or over. It just always wears really well and it never fades. Really nice and hydrating, but not overly hydrating like a super serum-y, balmy texture. It's just the perfect formula. I just adore most Dior highlights. They just knock it out of the park for me every single time. Speaking of these really fun ones here, the Forever Glow Maximizers. I love this collection. These are a little bit more shiny in comparison to the Glow Booster here, and they have some really fun, unique colors. I love to pair these two together. I would use the pink one as my highlight, which I am wearing as my only highlight today. Really cute to pair with a pink blush and such, and mix in the shade Rosy to kind of create a gorgeous blush and highlight duo. This is an intense version, of course, but I wanted you to see the tint. Woo, so fun to experiment with. They also have some really nice bronzy colors. The only one I would stay away from is the white one. That one is a complete disco glitter bomb, unless you're into that. That's not my jam. But for everyday colors, I really like the shade Gold. But I think my #1 favorite highlight of the year was definitely the Half Magic Beauty Beam Trap Light Beam Duo. Oh my gosh, this was on my cheeks every day in the summer. I kind of put it away so you guys didn't get super sick of me using this product. I know I'm pretty repetitive with my favorites and I like really drill them in my channel. This has such a delightful texture. It's slightly moussey, like very airy, so I think that just helps to blend it in. It has a super glossy, balmy texture feel when you're blending it out when it's like freshly warmed up. But once it's on your cheek, it doesn't feel like that whatsoever. And I hate like balmy texture feel on my skin. It makes me feel uncomfortable. This has a super comfortable texture. Look at that glow. It just gives you supermodel skin. It's so good. And this just makes me want chocolate so bad right now. So hungry all of a sudden. I'm such a tough critic when it comes to highlights, but those ones, love them. Getting into eye products, let's start with eyeliners. These were big faves. Coming in pretty close to the end of the year, but I've been reaching for these over my artist pencils that I use on my eyes or my Milk Makeup ones. These just have the perfect texture and they set down and lock in all day. They stay put so well in the waterline, even on my sensitive teary eye days, they stay. There's a few shades in the line that I wouldn't recommend. I pulled all of the shades that I do recommend. First is Orbit, which is a really interesting kind of slate gray. Very unique. I find gray liners are hard to find. They can lean blue or weird, or they're dry. But this one's a good one. I love that they have two different browns. This one is the shade Allure. I'll spread them out so you can see the undertone better. They have a warm and a neutral brown. This one is Depth. It's a bit more browny. There I go with this chocolate again. Hungry. The classic black, which is the shade Hypnotize. And lastly, the beige, which is called Gravitate. So here are the undertones. As you could see, they were super easy to blend out there. You get a good working time. So these are the best kind of liners to go for if you're trying to create a smoky eye because you can build them slowly. And if the product sets on you, you can build it up still and it's not going to like erase and pick up or like rehydrate the area weird. It builds on top of itself really well. They're very opaque and intense, so I use these for all different purposes. I've tried these in so many ways and they worked out for me every single time. They've impressed me so much, so they had to be in here. I had to include this eyeliner for uniqueness. It had such a grip on me all throughout the fall. This is the Victoria Beckham Satin Liner in the shade Bordeaux. This is a gorgeous color, gorgeous formula, and I've been kind of put off of Victoria Beckham products. I feel like I've had a lot of duds, but this just makes up for it, okay? This color is just everything and more. It's like a really nice burgundy red. Oh, it looks stunning. And this kind of color looks amazing on all different eye colors. This looks incredible on brown eyes. It really brings out like that amber color or the green within your brown eyes. This against blue, insane. This against green, crazy. All of it. It just looks really good on every eye color. Such a flattering, cool, interesting tone. So nice and smudgy. Same thing goes. I've tried this with so many different techniques and it works every time. There's one look I did earlier this year. I think it was my black cherry makeup look. Oh, that eye look has got to be one of my favorites of ever just this year. I don't know. Has such a stamp on my heart. Love it. Now getting into eyeshadow. This is the Judy Doll highlighting powder in the shade number 5, and this is like the perfect sheer twinkly topper. It has such a fine little glitter to it that it just looks like a sprinkle of actual pixie dust. It's gorgeous. It's just sprinkled snow. But adding this all over your eye on its own is incredible, or over like a very intricate eye look looks incredible, especially if you have like a lot of deep tones. It really sparkles like crazy. It is slightly similar to the Urban Decay The Moon Dusts. My two favorites from Urban Decay are Space Cowboy of course and Cosmic, but those are more opaque and they definitely have a base in comparison to the Judy Doll one. I should make like a eye topper compilation roundup video or something to really show the differences, but you can see here that this is just like the sheer glitter topper with a little bit of a base, but it's so fine and sheer, whereas these ones definitely have a more opaque base to them, and then the super gorgeous, super sparkly sparkles. But you can see how much more fine and twinkly the Judy Doll one is. So in my eyes, they're very different. Use them for different purposes. The eyeshadow palette of the year for me was definitely the Makeup by Mario, the Neutrals palette. There hasn't been a week that's gone by that I haven't used this at least 4 times. It's always right here on my desk. It's the only product that stays right here. And I use this to build up basically all of my looks. It just has everything I need, and I love how perfectly neutral the colors are, because then I don't have to think about if it's going to match the undertone of my blush or my lip combo or anything else. I just know it's going to look incredible every time. The Makeup by Mario eyeshadow formula is just unmatched. I use this all the time, but this looks barely used. You only need such a little amount, and they're perfectly pigmented shadows, meaning that they're not overly pigmented, so you're going to have a panic time blending them out, nor are they too sheer that they're like really digging into the pans. I get away with just dipping my brush once into each pan and I'm good. The last 2 palettes were definitely more for fun. The Icy Nude palette from Huda Beauty is for sure my favorite palette from her, and I believe she said that this is going to be her last large palette ever. But if that's true, what a bang to go out with, because I love this thing. I've been creating so many different fun looks. I've been so invigorated and inspired by this launch. It makes me feel back to like 2015, 2016, right before the eyeshadow palette boom, where everyone was locked into the one palette launch of the month or whatever, and it was just so exciting. That's how I've been feeling with this still. This is my favorite one she's ever launched. I just mindlessly gravitate towards this one. It just has everything I need to build a cool toned look or a neutral or slightly warm look. It's gorgeous. And the super fun palette of the year, definitely Danessa Myricks Lightwork Freedom palette. Oh my gosh, that's the fun pink shadow I have on my eye today. It's so funny. I always have to like hold this palette to the light to pick, because like looking at it without the light hitting the palette, all the shades look completely different and I kind of get confused. These are such nice, rich colors. I would also say her brand has really become such an innovative brand. Like all the launches have been really cool and unique. Although some of them haven't worked out for me, I still admire how unique her launches have been. But anyways, this palette just is mind-blowing to me. All of the shimmers in here are different formulas. Just looking at this is so inspiring. All the different textures and formulas in here is like almost overwhelming. It's such a fun palette to work with, especially if you're someone who has more of an artsier background or you like to go crazy with your makeup. It's incredible to play with. Like these are such little treasures. I know I recently talked your ear off about this in my last roundup, but I just think the packaging of this is just so cool and innovative, especially if you're a working makeup artist. You can condense it so easily. It's so customizable and just so smart. We've arrived at the lip category. So starting with lip liners, it was a big year for lip liners for me, specifically waterproof liners. So let's start with my first loves of the year, the Freck Beauty Makeout Club Nude Muse Lip Liners. My two favorite shades are 4 and 3. So this is 3 and this is 4. I don't know why I counted down there, but I'm hungry. Oh my gosh, that was crazy. Sounded like a bear. I love this formula. It's a little different than other waterproof liners in the way that it has like a very matte, blurred out edge to it. The effect on the perimeter of your lips isn't as crispy or as sharp as other lip liners go, if that makes sense. But this has such great longevity. Oh my goodness. These came with me everywhere I went. Another big launch for me were the Fenty Beauty lip liners. Oh, I was waiting for her to come out with lip liners and she did not disappoint. The traced out lip pencils, incredible shades and incredible formula. The one thing though that might put people off is that it's a super soft, very wet, creamy formula. So I find that I have been ripping through these quicker than other pencils, but the formula and the longevity has been it. So I don't have to reapply these multiple times throughout the day. They stay put. My favorite shade has been Peanut Butter, this one right here. Another big one was Rubber Bands, which is a little bit more neutral and dark in comparison. I also love I Wouldn't, which was a really nice brown to pair with like red lipsticks and such. And a pinky fave was Riri. So these 4 here are the Fenty Beauty ones. And of course, Makeup Forever. I was so happy to see that they came out with a different formula, but kept the same iconic shades. These are just the waterproof versions of the iconic favorites here. They're a little bit more opaque and intense in finish as well. So if you're someone who loves like lip oils and glossier products, these are the kind of lip liners for you. Other typical like wood pencils tend to fade or get eaten up by those type of formulas. These will stay put a lot better. I'm gonna give them a chance to kind of set down so you can see how transfer resistant they are. But the last one I wanted to mention is a shade extension. MAC came out with quite a few new lip liner colors. This one shade is just so different to my collection. It's the shade Root for Me. I have been having the time of my life pairing this with all my other favorite lipsticks and lip glosses and such. There it is right there. It's like a neutral brown, but depending on what you pair it with, it can be a little bit warm or cooler. It's a really interesting shade. They're not completely all dried down, but I'm getting impatient here. I'm putting a lot of pressure here and you can see that they don't really fade easy. You may have seen the little swatches on my wrist here. These are the Sachi lip stains. I think this gets like an award for me for most unique product I've tried this year because it is like a lip liner stain and I've been craving a product like this for so long. I know there were some out there, but they're like felt tips. I found those to dry out all the time. I don't know. This is way more up my alley. Plus it's fun to peel these off. And once they're set, and hopefully they have, you kind of pick at the edge and then peel that top lacquered layer off and you reveal the stain. So that shade there was a newer one. These two down here are the newer shades that I don't have much experience with. This is 08 Cinnamon and this one is 09 Plumbed. This one here is my favorite. That is 04 Hazel. Love. This is my second favorite here, 02 Mauve. And the last one here is 01 Nude, which is a really cute everyday color. But I always wipe them with a little damp cloth. I kind of look at these as lip liner insurance. I'm wearing one today and you can see my lip combo as I've been yapping has been disappearing, but you can see I still look like I have a full-on lip combo thanks to the Sachi lip stains. I don't know if I included these in last year's video, but I need to reiterate my love once again for them. The Haus Labs glosses are my #1 favorite glosses. These two shades pretty much disqualified all the other glosses in my collection. Today I'm wearing the shade Macaron. It's a gorgeous everyday pink. This lives in my purse. And we all know my love for Fig. This formula is unmatched. It has such a comfortable, plushy feel, similar to what I remembered the Pat McGrath glosses feeling like, a little bit like a water gel almost. And this right here, this is the Vive Lip Dew Glossy Lip Oil. It's like the lip oil version of the Haus Labs gloss, but this one has a little bit more of a tack to it, which is nice, kind of similar to the tack that the e.l.f. and the Dior lip glows have. So it does have a good like lip suspension, like it's not going to bleed everywhere, which is really nice when it comes to lip oils. Very comfortable, very lacquered, thick appearance to the sheen. Ooh, it's so nice and rich and plush looking on the lip. Very juicy in its finish. In my mind, I've made these two sisters and they love each other so much. Like, look at how pretty those two are together. Alongside of the Fenty Beauty lip liners, she came out with these, the Gloss Bomb sticks, and ooh, these are my favorite lip products from them. For sure, hands down the best that they've come out with. I love that they have like their iconic shades, but in this gorgeous glossy stick. And I love how these don't have like a plumping feature, because earlier this year, thanks to the NYX Duck Plump lip plumpers, I have like an allergic reaction to plumping lip products now. Get rid of all of them or I can't wear them. I still have like my Makeup by Mario Moisture Glows locked in my cupboard here. I like to look at them because I just have such fond memories, but I can't wear them because they make my throat itchy and raw and I cough. It sucks. I don't know what it is. But anyways, so thankful that these don't have that ingredient in them, but they have that glossy effect that you can get from this type of formula. Like, look at that sheen. I love this type of formula because it adds the glossiest effect you can to your lips, because it has a thicker, stiffer quality, because it needs to stay in stick form. So it's just able to kind of fill in your lip lines even more so than a typical gloss can. And it adds this like incredible glassy, even sheen, as you can see right here. And as gloss sticks go, these are amazing because they're so opaque and even, never patchy. And that's a big issue when it comes to glossier, deeper colors on fairer skin. They can look a little patchy and kind of displaced and weird. These do none of that. They're perfection. Absolute perfection. The Naturium Phyto Glow lip balms. These are for sure my favorite lip balm and tinted lip balm on the market. These are just so good. I can barely believe their price point. They're so affordable for what you get. You get the most lacquered, gorgeous, glossy appearance that I can't really achieve with the Summer Fridays or the Rhode Beauty lip bloms. Oh my god, I'm getting to the end of the video. I've been yapping for so long, things aren't starting to make sense to me. But anyways, although I love the two that I just brought up, the Summer Fridays and the Rhode, these are just unmatched for the evenness in the tints, the texture, the mouthfeel, the hydrating properties. These heal my lips like crazy. The tinted ones add a gorgeous even tone. It's just everything you could want or dream of in a tinted lip balm or just a plain old lip balm here. This is always with me in my bra. I carry it with me in my bra, always. She's skinny. Honestly, all of them look like they're on Ozempic. I need to restock soon. I don't know if I even showed you these. Here are the swatches here. I have Petal and Jam. And the last two products I wanted to talk to you about, you might have spotted them on this hand. They're stains. I just wanted them to have a good amount of time to sink into my skin and stain evenly, because sometimes when I talk about them I wipe them off a little too early and I'm like, that's not a good representation, Julia. Be patient. Be patient. I can't. Don't know what that is. These ones here, the Milani Color Fetish Hydrating Lip Stains. Incredible. These are one of the best lip stain formulas I've tried, and such fun colors. I just wanted to highlight my two top favorites. The red, which I wore constantly in the summer, is the shade 150. That's fire right here. Gorgeous, like true blood red. Oh, so nice in the summer. Just looks so lively and fresh and gorgeous. This other one, 120 Mahogany Mommy. Gorgeous kind of mauvey brown tone. These together, I've done that before. Outlined my lips with this, filled in the middle with this. Stunning combo. And before I wipe those off so I can reveal the stain, I'll talk about the Clio one here. This is the Crystal Glam tint in the shade Gentle Cinnamon. The shade is crazy amazing. So now you can see the differences in texture. The Milani ones have a little bit more of like a true lacquered look, whereas this one has kind of like a glassy sheen to it that's still very transparent and just light, whereas these are like very intense and in your face. These almost have like a softening watercolor blur to them or something. But now I'll wipe the top layer off so you can see the stain. So the Clio one stains a lot less, which is nice for day to day, but if you want like these really nice bright colors, these are going to stain all day long. Oh, they're gorgeous. And honestly, I feel like I'm missing a few things, but in that same breath, if I didn't think of them immediately, maybe that's saying more than I even know. I don't know if this is the last video of the year. I do have a few that I need to edit. I don't know what order they're going to go out in, but if this is my last video of the year, I just wanted to thank you for supporting me for all these years, or maybe you're a newer follower. I appreciate you just as much. It just really means the world to me. Thank you for allowing me to do my dream job and to create this kind of content. You guys really keep me going, keep me inspired, but without getting too soft, I just want to let you know how appreciative I am, and I know this job is just such a privilege, and I'm lucky every day that I get to do this. Thank you for making my dream come true. Little Julia would not believe that this became a reality for me. But that's going to wrap up today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I'll have everything I talked about listed and linked in the description box down below, so feel free to check that out, and I'll see you in my next video, possibly in the new year. I hope you have a happy holidays. What? I hope you have a happy holidays. You get some time off to reset and regroup for the new year. Let's hope 2025 slays. Okay? Okay, bye.